Well, it's Monday, and that means we have another essential oil education night coming to you to close out our Select 30 series spotlight. So we've been doing this for a number of months now, a few oils at a time, and we've been highlighting the Select 30 series, which is a set of oil. Well, okay, my internet wants, or my headphones want to keep changing. It's a collection of oils that that Young Living has put together. The most popular 30 oils really is kind of the way to think about it. And we've kind of slowly, systematically been going through them. Some of these are oils that are well known and you're familiar with, and some of them are maybe new to you. So, or maybe a tried and true oil. You might learn a new way to use it, or a new application, or a new understanding of it. So we're going to dive right in. We're finally going to close out. Oh, one bonus is the Select 30 series is one of those things that you could buy a whole collection of oils using your loyalty rewards points. So maybe you just could use a general restock of some of the best oils. And so it'd be a really great way to use your loyalty rewards order points and get a whole kit of oils, including an actual carrying case for completely free, using those loyalty rewards points. That's one of the bonuses of having a loyalty rewards, is that you get to earn points back. So if you're unfamiliar with the loyalty rewards program, just shoot me a comment or leave a DM, and I will explain that to you a little bit further. But without further ado, tonight we're going to talk about Thieves, Eucalyptus Globulus, RC, and Abundance. And some of these are some of our favorite oils. So you may, I was sort of doing some big searches to look around and see if I could find some new uses or something that maybe is unfamiliar with you, to give you some new information, especially as it comes to our first, Thieves. Thieves is one of our favorites. Often if people have heard of Young Living, they have heard of Thieves. It is, of course, super immune supporting. It is the basis of the home care, or the home care line that has all of the the laundry soap, the dish soap, the Thieves household cleaner. Of course, that's one of my favorite products that Young Living makes. It's how I clean my entire house. But all of that base kind of spawned out of the Thieves essential oil and its popularity. And it is, of course, maybe you aren't familiar with how it got its name. It was created from research based on legends about a group of 15th century thieves who rubbed oils all over themselves and put on handkerchiefs and held it over their face as they robbed the dead and dying during the plague. And when they were finally apprehended, the thieves were forced to tell what their secret was and disclose the formula of the herbs and spices and oils that they used to protect themselves as they were doing this thievery for a more lenient punishment. So I guess it was the original plea bargain. And the Thieves is made up, of course, of clove, lemon, cinnamon bark, eucalyptus radiata, not Eucalyptus globulus, and then rosemary. So together those combine to be super supporting to the immune system, super supporting to kind of knocking out scents and smells. Thieves is one I will not be without. It's cleansing when applied topically. It's great to diffuse to create a fresh, healthy environment. It's, of course, highly immune supporting in that way as well. So a great one to diffuse if you've been exposed to people who are unwell, or you feel yourself falling below the wellness line. Great to diffuse in kids' rooms. And it is really, it's helpful even to the digestive system in some of those same ways. So think about it. And I even read somebody who said that is one of their favorite new uses of Thieves is to use for seasonal discomfort, that they kind of paint the roof of their mouth and their gums with it. Now, of course, Thieves is hot. So if you're not familiar with Thieves, maybe you want to start out diluting. If you're not familiar with taking Thieves internally, dilute. Thieves is just really phenomenal to put a drop under your tongue. And if you're feeling unwell, or if you know you've been around people who are unwell, it's a great way to just give that extra oomph to the immune system. This would be a great one to put in a roller ball to have for your kids to put on their feet before they put their socks on to go to school, or to put on their feet before they go to bed at night. You could add a few drops to your dishwasher, or, you know, into the, like with your dish tabs or whatever, to help eliminate odors, and boost, you know, cleaning of that. You can, take it in a capsule. If you don't prefer the flavor and you don't want it under your tongue, you could put some drops in a capsule to help kind of keep you above the wellness line. You can put a drop in your morning juice or tea or coffee if you prefer it to be a little bit diluted in that way, or in your oatmeal, granola, or your other cereal as part of your breakfast routine to help kind of keep you well. That cinnamon and clove will really come through there, especially for like fall flavors. So oatmeal will be a really great example of a place that you could put it. It's really great for all things pertaining to your mouth. That clove is a really strong oil to help support any mouth issues. So dental stuff, if you need some it has a numbing sense to it. And so this would be good for mouth sores, or you've bit your tongue, or any of those kinds of things. Thieves is really, really great for that. One other use to consider would be if you have a tendency to want to eat something, you have a sweet tooth, or you're trying to stay away from something, you're feeling a craving of something, put a drop of Thieves under your tongue and see how that helps support that craving. Emotionally, remember we talk about oils having emotional properties as well, or ways that support our emotions. The emotions associated with Thieves, there's 3 of them. The first one is different. That's the emotion of different. The opposite of different is real. And the way out is I embrace consciousness. So that's coming from the blue book, of course, that we use, the releasing emotions using essential oils. The second emotion associated with it is sneaky. The opposite is direct. And the way out is I am clear. So if you're feeling sneaky, or you're feeling like you're doing something maybe you shouldn't, the way out, the opposite of that is to be direct. And the way out is I'm clear. Thieves would be a great oil for that. The last emotion associated with Thieves is uncertain. The opposite is focused. And the way out would be I am clear and focused. So you can see how that sneaky and the way out on both of those, I'm clear and focused. That's a really great way to think about Thieves emotionally. If you're feeling uncertain or sneaky or not sure, then Thieves would be a great emotional oil to be diffusing or taking a deep breath of, and to help kind of focus you in. Next up is Eucalyptus globulus. Eucalyptus globulus is a tall evergreen species native to southeastern Australia. It's a member of the myrtle family, and it can grow to a height of up to 330 feet. An estimated 75% of Australia's vegetation is eucalyptus, and there are actually more than 700 species of eucalyptus. Now, Young Living has eucalyptus in multiple parts of the world, but specifically Eucalyptus globulus is actually in China. It's now been it's commonly being grown in China now as well. And so the Eucalyptus globulus comes from China. It's steam distilled from the leaves. Traditionally, the Aboriginal Australians used to use eucalyptus leaves as part of to cover wounds, so wound care. So that can give you a sense of some of the things that it might be used for once it's steam distilled and the oil is included. And it has the naturally occurring constituent of eucalyptol, which is actually found. That's a key ingredient in a lot of mouth rinses. So, neat to kind of think about it that way. But that same eucalyptol, that key active constituent, provides an invigorating sensation on the skin. when it's applied topically, and it creates that refreshing breathing experience when you inhale it or diffuse it or put it here as like a chest rub or anything like that. It is often used for the respiratory system. That's kind of the most association in terms of body systems that eucalyptus is used, but it has really incredible and has been investigated for its powerful insect repellent effects. It's also really great for, of course, discomfort in joints and muscles. So this would be a great one to incorporate into massage, pre or post workout. Or if you just have discomfort in your joints, that would be a really good one for that as well. In general, its fragrant influences promotes well-being and whole body wellness. It's funny, when you smell any eucalyptus to me, but eucalyptus is one of the most common smells and scents that you're going to find in a spa or health center or massage parlor or something like that. Eucalyptus is one of the most popular because it's just so refreshing, and it just generates these feelings of well-being. So that would be eucalyptus, the fragrant influences. This would be a great one to apply to the upper chest or back or neck if you're just needing some extra respiratory support. And you could even put it in like a hot bowl of water and drape a towel over your head, put a couple drops and drape a towel over your head over that bowl, and let the steam just kind of create a steam bath for you to help clear those respiratory areas. This would be a great one to put in a spray bottle and spray on the walls of your shower before you take a shower, and let the steam kind of activate that as well and get that same steam cleaning, wellness influenced, fragrant influence as part of your routine as well. Emotionally, this is interesting. The emotion associated with it is bondage or fear of bondage. And the opposite of that is freedom. So the way out would be, I like who I am. So if you are somebody who is afraid of that kind of being bound or held back, and the opposite being freedom, I like who I am, is Eucalyptus globulus is an oil you want to reach for. Next up is RC. And the reason I did Eucalyptus globulus before I did RC was because Eucalyptus globulus is one of the oils in RC. It's actually one of 3 eucalyptus species that are in RC. So alongside 3 different eucalyptus oils, the blend also contains myrtle, marjoram, pine, lavender, cypress, black spruce, and peppermint. This is just a really great oil for people who struggle with chronic respiratory support needs. In fact, that's specifically what it was formulated for. You really want to think about this to have on hand if you're needing some consistent respiratory support, which is some things that people are dealing with right now, to help just offer some support to those lungs and that breathing system. You could diffuse this for a great environment to kind of help lift a stuffy environment. If something feels stuffy, it offers relaxing and refreshing when diffused. It's both invigorating and grounding, which is kind of if you think about it, it's kind of a rare combination, but that's an important combination in that, like, invigorated to do what you need to do or get done, or kind of renewed in your energy, but also grounded and not like spinning out, right? So it's kind of neat to think about it that way. It would be great for a foot or back massage after a long day or gym routine, going on an outdoor adventure, or even just as a part of your yoga practice. Some people say it's a really great one to have as just part of your morning routine to put on your wrists before you're running your errands or getting your day started, your wrists or your chest, to help kind of invigorate and get you going and get you moving. And of course would be a great one to diffuse overnight to just support overall great breathing so that you can sleep well. It is just really another one that you could consider to put in your bath or shower, combining it with Epsom salts and whatever. Oh, this is something I did hear and learn about recently in a call. A woman shared about not that when you do the Epsom salt in your bath, add the oils to the Epsom salt, but fill your bathtub first, get in the bathtub, and then sprinkle the Epsom salts in with the oils, because then you're getting an even more expansive Epsom salt diffusing experience, rather than just dumping the salts in your bath and then letting the water run and then getting in like once the bathtub is full, because you're missing out on sort of that initial hit of oils once it hits the water. So if you're somebody who's inclined to do that, RC would be a really great one for that, just breathing support, especially this time of year. You can diffuse this, you can directly inhale this, you can apply it to the chest, neck, throat, or even over your sinus areas. You would want to be, of course, very careful around your eyes. This would be one you could put on your forehead, even for the sinus support. And make sure you test it, because it can, that peppermint in it can feel really like really effervescent in your face. So you might want to dilute as it pertains to putting it anywhere near your sinuses. Again, another one to put in a bowl of hot water, put that towel over your head and take some deep breaths. One of the things that was actually mentioned, if you're having some acute needs, like if you're falling below the wellness line in the respiratory category, one thing that you could consider doing is alternating RC with Raven or Dorado Azul or Eucalyptus Blue or Thieves. So the first time you do the bowl, you do RC, and then maybe an hour later or 3 hours later, or next time you do that, you try Thieves, or you try Raven, or you try a Eucalyptus Blue or something like that. So that and then come back to RC. So you maybe want to alternate to just kind of create overall support. The emotion associated with RC is depletion, which I think I feel like a lot of us can probably identify with, especially this time of year with December, having the holidays coming up and having Thanksgiving over, and just everything as you're trying to get ready for Christmas and the month of December. Depletion might be something that arises. So reach for that RC, and the opposite is rejuvenated. And the way out is I take care of myself. Which, how many of us can say that honestly? Are we taking care of ourselves? RC is you're going to be the oil you want to go to for that. Now, I did find this really neat testimonial about all three of the oils I just talked about Thieves, Eucalyptus Globulus, and RC, that I wanted to share. Somebody was sharing that their husband decided, who was like a 2-pack a day smoker, after 40 years of this, decided he wanted to, go ahead and stop smoking and move forward in a new way. And he used oils to help support him in that decision. And he applied a few drops of Eucalyptus globulus and frankincense on his back and chest area and over his lungs, both morning and night. He used a drop or two of Stress Away on his temples or in the back of his neck as needed. He drank 5 drops of Thieves in 16 to 20 ounces of water several times a day. Which helped him when he was craving something. That's what we were talking about earlier, right? Anytime he would have the urge or the crave, he would put some Thieves in there, and that would sort of help his body deal with the craving. And then because of course, a lifetime of smoking, he felt the need to be supporting his lungs in a new way. And so he was use RC on VitaFlex points on his feet at least twice a day, and also just supporting in his lungs, along his lungs too. And she said it wasn't an overnight success, but within a month, he started to feel his urge to want to smoke decline. And in about 2 months, he really felt like he was over it. And so I think when we're making big life changes like that, it's really great to know that we have these naturally occurring products that we can use to support us in these healthy habits. So that's one way to think about how you might be able to use those 3 oils, or maybe you know somebody in your life who this is something they struggle with. There's just an interesting testimonial I thought I would share. Last but not least is abundance oil. Now, abundance oil is not my favorite oil scent-wise. It's not, but I can appreciate what it's trying to offer me. And this is one that has 8 essential oils. It has orange, frankincense, patchouli, clove, ginger, myrrh, cinnamon bark, and black spruce. So it's sort of very earthy, very musty, especially with that myrrh and the patchouli. Those really come through as I have smelled it and used it. But this is one that is really great when you're operating in sort of your field for which you maybe need some abundance. It's one that was obviously, a lot of the oils have names that are based on what they are hoping to help you with. So abundance would be one of those. It is a great oil to, as somebody mentioned that they love to do this when they're paying bills. They love to put on abundance when they're paying bills to make them feel better about paying the bills. Or other people like to think about it. If you hear some of those oils, that frankincense, that patchouli, that black spruce, that myrrh, it's a really mood lifting, orange as well, really mood lifting oils. And so it's really good for if you're feeling like pretty overly sad about something or upset about something. Abundance would be an oil to kind of help you through that. It's meant to bring joy, positivity, attraction, energy, good feelings, wealth, wellness. That's what it was specifically designed for. I often hear when people are talking about the Young Living businesses side, the business side of Young Living, where you can be a brand partner and earn money just for sharing oils. Sort of think of it like an affiliate link, but one that pays you actual real money, not like an affiliate link for Amazon that just lines Bezos's pocket and you get just some chump change with that. The Young Living business folks like to talk about it, that as they're thinking about their business, or if they're working their business, or even like to spray it as they're writing notes, or diffuse it as they're working on their business plans or their plans for the future. That abundance is the oil that they reach for. Young Living's founder, D. Gary Young, his intent in creating this oil was to reduce poverty consciousness. So it's a great blend to support those who struggle and worry about money, and instead want to kind of turn that struggle over. Maybe you have a limiting mindset, maybe you have a poverty mentality. This would be an oil that can kind of help you move into a place of not being so controlled by that mentality. It's one that you can diffuse, directly inhale. You can put 2 to 4 drops in a bath water with Epsom salts. People say they put it over their heart or wrists, neck and temples. And really one of the interesting things that I found in researching abundance was kind of a systematic way of using abundance. And in fact, before this call, or before, earlier this evening, I decided, well, let me just try that pattern. Because again, I told you, I don't really love the smell of abundance, but I have an abundance of abundance. I have several bottles of it that I've either gotten on a promo or somebody has sent to me or something like that. So I want to incorporate this oil more. I don't want to look at the bottle and think, I don't want to. And truly, I am a person inclined towards, I can have limiting beliefs when it comes to abundance, I guess, is a way of thinking about it. So the pattern would be to use release first. So use the oil release first, if you have it, to release emotions that prevent us from having an abundant mindset. And then then use abundance, and then follow with oils such as acceptance, believe, envision, into the future, the gift, joy, magnify your purpose, motivation, or valor, depending on which oil is seeming to be the thing that you need more abundance of. Do you need more valor in your life? Do you need more joy? Do you need more vision? So envision would be a great one. Do you need more acceptance? So start with that release to release some of those limiting. So what I did was I put a drop in my hands of release, took a few deep breaths, and then I kind of went like this in my hair. And then I took a drop of abundance and did the same thing and did this in my hair. And then I chose joy because I need an abundance of joy in my life. And to be honest, when I put those three together, I really actually didn't mind the smell of abundance at all. And some of you may love the smell of abundance. So don't be limited by, be abundant in your thinking about abundance. Don't be swayed by me. So just a thought on how you might think about releasing and then putting abundance and then following up with an oil of what is it that you need abundance for? Or is there a way that you can magnify the type of abundance you're looking for? So to close out abundance, I'll talk a little bit about there's 4 emotions associated with the abundance. They're kind of similar. There's like just some slight distinctions, but the first emotion, poor. The opposite of poor would be supported. And the way out would be, I am expressing my passion. The second emotion associated with it would be scarcity. The opposite would be abundance. That's how we get our oil, right? And the way out would be, I am in alignment with the flow. So use that as you will. The third would be struggle. The emotion associated with abundance would be struggle. The opposite of struggle being clarity. And the way out would be, I accept my emotions. And last would be worry. And the opposite of worry, again, abundance. And the way out is, I go to the depths. So if those are emotions that you need help with, then this is an option for you. And hopefully you could get some abundance in your life by using abundance. So that closes out our Select 30 series. I hope you found it to be helpful. As we've walked through those oils. Some of these are some of the most popular oils that we've talked about. So if you find yourself not sure which oils to look to, maybe check out the Select 30 series and see what some of the popular ones are and why, and listen to one of the videos we've done. But we're gonna, so that wraps that up. And in the new year, I think I've got a couple ideas of a different series that we might do. And I'm not sure where I want to land on it just yet, but to be continued, and you'll know where we're headed next. But I hope that this has been helpful. I hope you've had a great Thanksgiving week and are ready to kind of take off into December. And as a last minute reminder, if you're watching this live or the same night, this is your last night for the holiday spark sale. Hopefully you've taken advantage of some of those great prices and, gotten the good deals on the Cyber Monday end of the holiday spark sale. Thanks for joining.